Come vape with me. I'm going to show you this mod. This is a VPro. It's a VPro mod, and it's very much like the Z-Max in the way the menu works and even the look, but it's different. So I've been using this for maybe a few months, and it's absolutely wonderful. For a start, I can change the voltage or vape on wattage and send the wattage up, and I'll show you how you do that just now. But mainly because it's got a really good tank on it. This tank has given me yonks and yonks of pleasure vaping on it. And actually, I find the e-liquid that I use, I mix it myself, a lot of it, and I find it has such a delicate taste. If you ratchet the wattage or the volts up, you trash the flavor. So in fact, I vape on a low voltage, and I keep the most delicate flavor. I keep it intact. The way you can change the strength of the electricity pulsing through this device is really useful, even if you don't want to pump out loads of vapor and have a hot vape. So this is the VPro. Let me tell you about it. It came in a beautiful box like that and packed well inside. The actual mod came in that top, and the bottom had the plug and a place for the tank. You can see that there's a sort of VPro tank. It's rebuildable, and so that's a plus too. Now the way this is different from other mods, you can turn the voltage up to 6 volts and the wattage right up to 20. Now I haven't even tried that. I'm too frightened to do that because I'd probably blow all the atties. I can't imagine why you would need 20 watts, but some people might do. And I know there are people that vape at very high wattage and very high voltage. Now, because you can wreck your tanks, this comes with a little instruction grid. Can you see there? If you are vaping at certain ohms, say 2.4 or something, it tells you where the danger would be to your atomizer if you ratchet the wattage or the voltage up too high. In fact, I think this is voltage only. This is voltage only, but on the internet, and I'll put the link there, Grim Green has got a wonderful diagram on what to do what at. It's very beautifully laid out, and I often refer to that. There's another little card in the box, and these are the only instructions this came with. Two lovely coated cards with VPro on the one side and instructions on the other, and the other card has the same VPro on one side and your diagram as to how to alter the voltage. It does not mention wattage, but the internet does. There are other sites too, but the best one is Grim Green's diagrams for what you can vape what at, and I'm not making a pun. So this set also comes with a charging cable. That is a British wall plug, and on it it's got two goodies here. It's got a USB plug which goes into the wall plug, and then it's got another thing that looks like a USB plug, and that is for if you want to charge your camera or your mobile phone on a charging cable. Slots in here as it would in a computer, but that isn't a USB port external, it's a receiver of a USB port, and you would attach your device on the end of the mod, and that will set up charging my camera. Now, I like to see that my camera is fully charged when I take it out, because to me the biggest evil of them all would be to have my mod not working. So I need to charge this so that it's always reliably full of power. I do that at night. I simply screw it onto the charging device, and actually it fits perfectly in this tin. So this is a bit of safety. I lie it in the tin and close the top so that the cable is outside, hangs out of the box. And so I think if aught happened that was dangerous, like a flash or a fire or something, it is contained in a tin. The tin I love, it's cutter's choice, which is the kind of tobacco I used to roll when I smoked. So I am very impressed with the VPro. It's sort of originally, when I saw it, I had a sort of Provari look to it, because Provari used to have these sort of grooves, but they don't anymore, of course. And the Z-Max has this as well, and also the studs. There's a sort of art form going round there that I rather like. It's sort of to the future, space agey, and it vapes a treat. And I'm very impressed with the tank and the way the tank looks. The mouthpiece is very decorative, and you know I like that, so I really do like this mod. You might feel it's big, and it is big because the brain part, the computer part, resides on the top. I'll show you how to set it. This is a close-up of the VPro, and these menu buttons only work when you have a tank or an atomizer attached to the device. So I'm going to put the tank on that I received with this. It's a ViviNova type tank. So there is the tank, and the minute it's on, this button push affair works, and it's much easier than you would think. 3 little taps and you're able to raise your voltage. Now this has to scroll right through, so it goes up to 6 volts and then it drops down to 3, and I'm going to put this on 4.1, and I pause, and that is now in the memory. Now 3 little taps and more. This is number 2. You can turn it on or off on number 2. 1 is to push your volts up. 2 is to turn it on and off. And then you continue tapping. That's 2. That's 3 is your battery. So I've got 4 volts left in my battery. 3 little taps and more. Battery. This is the ohms. This says 2.6 ohms. Pause. 3 little taps and then continue on. That's the ohms. This is whether I want the little light on. The light that comes on so that you can see what you're doing at night. It irradiates the menu. So that was 5. And continue tapping. 4 is ohms, 5 is the light on, and 6 is the wattage. Now I've got it set at 7 watts. Did you see that? Now that's remembered it at 7 watts, because if I quick flash it, you will see momentarily that I'm vaping this at 7 watts. So let's go through that again and set it to a different wattage. 1, 2, 3 turns it on. That's on or off, and I've turned it off, but I want it on. Pause. So you've got to cycle through it all again. 1, 2, 3. Continue tapping. 3 is battery, 4 is on, 5 is the light on or off, and this is the volts, the wattage. This goes right up to 20, and then it goes back to 3. I'll show you that again. It cycles right up 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I can't imagine who would vape at that wattage, but I'm showing you that that's what it does. So let's put it on something ridiculous. 14. And I pause. Now just to check that that's what it's set on, I tap the button, and there it said momentarily as a flash to show that I'm vaping on watts and not voltage. Did you see? I don't know if you can see. And at that moment, of course, it tests by sending a pulse to the atomizer in the tank. So I'm going to go through that again, because I don't want to vape at 14 watts. There it is. Wait a minute. Cycle right up through to 20. There we've got 3, 4, 5. And it's very strange. When you first do this, you think actually that it's set at 6 watts. But 6 is the number, 1, 2, 3, 4, that you have to cycle through to change the power. So I set it at 5. I'm going to set it at 7 again. And now 1, 6, and 7. Pause. It puts it in the memory. And then if I want to check, I'm vaping on watts. And that is 7, if you can see that. The confusing thing is, if you cycle through to watts, you think you're on 6, but you're not. If you wait, you can check to see what you really are on. So actually, this menu is really easy to work. It's simply getting used to pausing. Let's see how much battery life. I've got 4 volts left on my battery. It will take more, but I've already used this. 1, 2, 3 starts it, and then you cycle through. That is 2.6 ohms that I'm vaping on. 1, 2, 3 starts it off. Go through, that's the battery, that's the ohms, that's the little light on or off, and this is the power button. So let's make it 9 watts. Wait, it's in the memory now. It should flash on. Did you see? 9 watts. 9p it actually says. The power is 9. So that is actually set to seeing what wattage you are vaping at. If I change this to volts, 1, 2, 3, I'm going to go to 4.2 volts. Pause. It's in the memory. Wait. Now I'm vaping on volts. If I push that, you will see that the volts 4.2 flashes on, so I can see that I'm vaping in volts, and I'm vaping at 4.2 volts. Once you get the knack of this, this is terribly easy. One button does everything, and it's the only device mod that I know of that will go up to 20 watts. Only I'm too frightened to test it out at 20 watts because I'll blow up my Atty. And there you are. That's what it looks like on the menu bar. It's easy once you have a little bit of practice. So that's the VPro mod. That is different from a lot. You can charge other devices off it, and you can turn up the wattage. You can increase the wattage to 20 watts, and that gives it a real punch. I haven't tried it on that. So thanks for vaping with me.